You're very welcome to another vlog, and this time around it's all about wetland bird photography. So we'll be taking out the long lens and venturing out into one of the most beautiful wetlands in Ireland. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jimmy MacDonald. I'm a nature photographer from County Wicklow in Ireland, and this is a little of what you might expect from this channel. As you may know, if you've watched any of my previous wildlife photography videos, a good number of years ago now, I purchased a 400mm 2.8 lens. And the question is, do I have any regrets over that purchase? Considering the 400mm really doesn't cut it out here on a vast wetland. Actually, I'm not sure any telephoto prime, even up to 600-800mm cuts it here, because there's great difficulty in photographing these birds. They're very wary. There are birds of prey around at all times, so it's very difficult to approach them. So as you'll see, the sun is well up now. It's lovely warm light. Problem is, I have no birds to photograph. I crossed a channel which I've crossed many, many times over the years, and I think I've just taken the wrong direction, because either side of the unseen pathway across this channel, it gets a little bit deeper, and I was just sinking into the soft mud. So I've retreated hastily. Now, 400mm 2.8 lens, why did I buy that lens, say over 500 or 600? And the reason is quite logical. So I gave it a lot of thought. I did a lot of diving down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And it simply came down to three reasons. The first is that 2.8 aperture. I can remember seeing a photograph of a short-eared owl, one of my favorite birds, on a website somewhere, and it was shot at 400. I remember 400 2.8 at 2.8. And I looked at that photograph in glorious morning light, like this morning, but we don't have any short-eared owls around. There is one around. And that sold it to me. I just said, wow, the beauty of that bokeh just couldn't be matched. Maybe the 300 2.8 would match that bokeh. The 400 has a little more reach. And then once we go up into the longer reach lenses, the 500 and the 600, we're down to f4. But particularly the 600 f4 is a wonderful lens for bird photography. And nowadays they come with a built-in 1.4 converter, I believe. The second reason I chose the 400 2.8, because more than any other lens, bar the 300 2.8, it takes teleconverters, all of the teleconverters. So We have the 1.4 teleconverter. Next up is the 1.7 teleconverter. Now we lose 1.5 stops with this. With the 1.4, we lose 1 stop of light. And that brings us over 600 mil at 4.8, I think. And then the largest teleconverter, as you'd expect, is the 2x teleconverter. Now, with every other lens, bar the 300 2.8, this is practically unusable. With the 400 2.8, the autofocus works quite well, and you can get reasonably sharp images. I'm not saying wide open, but maybe stopping down. Now, those teleconverters have a substantial effect on light, and particularly for early morning photography. We lose light, and the quality does degrade as we increase the magnification. And the third reason I've chosen the 400 2.8 is that using it wide open and with the megapixels that we have in the cameras nowadays, we can crop in camera, DX mode in Nikon, with minimal effect, bringing the magnification up over 500 mil. So there's plenty of reach there. And there are other considerations with reach, such as the atmospherics. So if you are a long distance away from a bird, there will be interference in the air from heat haze, etc. So the 400 mil is wonderful when you're shooting squirrels, as I have done, and I'll link to a video up there photographing squirrels in Ireland, and particularly from a height, because you benefit from the light gathering ability of the lens, and you benefit from that 2.8 bokeh, which really is stunning and cannot be beat. Now, the next step for me is to find some birds here this morning. Well, I've spent the morning traipsing across the marshes here, which is heavy going. And it doesn't help that I have a very heavy pair of welly boots. And you can see here, I've taken them off and I've come up to the sand dunes. Actually, I saw a beautiful hare running from June to June. But apart from that, the pickings have been very slim. It's windy, the birds are flighty, and I think they may be over on the far side, which could be about a mile away. But that's the luck of the draw. You pick your area to explore, and you may be lucky and you may not be lucky. And that really is wildlife photography in a nutshell. I did have 3 spoonbill, which are very scarce birds for Ireland, flying overhead, and I'll put that image up there. But what I really want to photograph here this morning are the small wading birds, maybe some of the vagrant birds from North America, buff-breasted sandpipers, pectoral sandpipers. So we'll march on best foot forward, and hopefully we get a little bit of luck, because I need a little bit of luck this morning. And I need a pair of welly boots that are a little lighter than the ones I have. So there it is. Let's march on and we'll pick up at the next location, wherever that may be. Well, the hare that I saw in the distance, I kept an eye on him for a while. And then I busied myself looking around the beach. And I walked in its direction. And I had forgotten that it might not have cleared the area. And it literally ran from under my feet. And I almost kicked myself, I did, for just not being sharp enough to think that it might be still in the area. But I got the best shot of the morning, and there hasn't been many good shots this morning. It's a distant enough shot, and I have the 1.4 teleconverter on, shooting at f4.5. The light was actually quite nice, and the hare sat up for me. So I'm going to put that image up there now. So there's a little bit of hope this morning. Hopefully things will take a turn around. Well, I've managed to find my way across the channel now, and I've come to an area with the samphire, very dry. It's just a little bit damp to lie on. And a buff-breasted sandpiper, a vagrant bird from North America. It's about 20-30 yards away. The 1.4 converter in DX mode is giving me acceptable images, but I may switch now to the 1.7 or the 2x converter. But I find once you lie down on the ground the bird could actually walk up to me. It could walk in the other direction, but I never know. There's another 2 buff breasts that have landed about 100 yards this way. My only problem is if I stand up now, it may put them to flight, and I don't want that because they could go over to the far side of the marsh. So I'm going to bide my time here, and hopefully I'll get some closer shots. I am going to try the 1.7 and the 2x converter at this distance. Oh, he's just gone off there now. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on him and see if I can get a little bit closer. So I've tested out the 1.4 and the 1.7 converter today. I haven't had the opportunity to put the 2x on or the need to do so. And as you would expect in a wetland like this, shooting at 400mm just isn't an option, even in DX mode. So I hope you've enjoyed this video set in this beautiful open wetland. Next time around, it's going to be back to landscape photography and in a very, very special place. So if you like the content, please subscribe and click that notification and like button. So until then, thanks very much for watching.